The world you navigate, the struggles that feel so real, are not always current. They are frequently echoes, phantom limbs of a reality that has already passed. You feel the weight of these expired moments, their gravity pulling you back into familiar despair. It's a dead world still rendering, its pixelated edges blurring the vibrant truth of what could be. This isn't just about memory, it's about active broadcast. Your subconscious mind, a hidden projector, keeps beaming forth old scenarios, old perceived limitations. It's a feedback loop, a ghost in the machine, and its familiar hum can be deafening. You've felt this loop, this sense of déjà vu with new problems that feel strangely old. The universe isn't malicious, nor is it uncaring. It's simply responsive, a perfect mirror reflecting the strongest signal it receives. And often, that signal is composed of the past, of an identity you've already outgrown but haven't yet decommissioned. It's a glitch in the simulation, a lingering shadow. This persistent projection keeps you bound, not by external forces, but by an internal inertia. A self that, though no longer serving you, continues to demand its narrative be played out. But what if this projection isn't fixed, and you hold the forgotten lever to shift the entire scene? You stand at the center of your perceived universe, not as a passive recipient, but as an active, albeit often unconscious, architect. This is the observer, the fundamental engine of your reality. It's not some mystical force outside you. It's the very core of your attention, your focus, your intentionality. This observer isn't just looking at reality, it's shaping it moment by moment. Think of it as a spotlight. Whatever that spotlight illuminates gains substance, becomes dense, takes on form. If your spotlight constantly falls upon deficiency, upon past failures, upon the expected obstacles, then that is precisely what shows up. You felt this dynamic, this uncanny way your fears seem to manifest. The power of this observer is almost terrifying in its simplicity. It's been there all along, the silent partner in every triumph and every setback. It's why some people seem to effortlessly manifest their desires, while others remain perpetually stuck. They've learned how to direct their observer. This isn't about positive thinking as a superficial balm. It's about leveraging the foundational mechanism of how reality condenses from potential. Your observer is the switch, the dial, the forgotten lever that can reroute the entire stream of experience. But what happens when that lever is stuck, binding you to an outdated self? And before we dive deeper, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell. These revelations aren't random, and if this video found you, it was meant to. Now let's begin. The self you are now, the collection of beliefs, memories, and reactions, possesses a profound inertia. It's like a massive ship, once set on a course, requiring immense effort to redirect. This identity inertia is why you find yourself repeating patterns, facing similar challenges, even as you consciously desire change. Your old self is still rendering, demanding its predictable storyline. You felt this frustrating loop, this sense of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's not a lack of effort, it's an underlying program, an outdated operating system still running in the background. This expired self isn't weak, it's merely persistent, comfortable in its familiar grooves. It acts as a stabilizer, keeping one version of reality alive, even if that version is painful. This isn't about blaming yourself, it's about recognizing the mechanics. Your subconscious attaches safety to the familiar, even if the familiar is detrimental. It prefers the known struggle to the unknown liberation. This deep-seated preference creates a magnetic field, pulling you back into the orbit of your past identity. This inertia is the silent enemy of transformation. It's the invisible force that resists your conscious attempts to shift. But understanding this force is the first step to dismantling it, to breaking free from the gravitational pull of who you once were. What happens, though, when this resistance becomes so ingrained, it forms a refusal to even acknowledge new possibilities. Imagine your mind as a vast scrapbook filled with defining moments, past failures, remembered limitations. Each page is a perception, etched deeply, influencing every new experience. When perception won't move, you're essentially flipping through this scrapbook of the dead, expecting new outcomes from old images. It's like trying to watch a new movie on a projector loaded with an ancient film reel. You've seen this play out in your own life. New opportunities arise, but your internal filter immediately projects past scenarios onto them. A new relationship begins to blossom, but your mind overlays it with the shadows of past heartbreaks. A chance for financial growth appears, but your scrapbook pulls up memories of scarcity. This isn't coincidence, it's the fixed lens of your observer. This rigidity isn't a moral failing, it's a learned survival mechanism. The brain prefers neural pathways that are well-worn, even if they lead to dead ends. It conserves energy by falling back on what's familiar. This creates a perception cage where possibilities are pre-filtered, and anything outside the scrapbook's approved narrative is simply discarded or distorted. The world attempts to offer you new options, but your perception, tethered to the past, simply cannot register them. It's a form of blindness, not of the eyes, but of the internal vision. You are actively, though unknowingly, pruning away potential realities. But how can you move forward when the very memories that define you hold you captive? The person you remember yourself to be, the identity you cling to from 5 years ago, 5 months ago, even 5 minutes ago, is a construct. It's a static image, a faded photograph that simply cannot contain the fluid, ever-shifting nature of your current existence. You cannot be who you remember, because who you remember has already ceased to exist in that rigid form. This is a fundamental shift in understanding identity. You are not a fixed entity, you are a dynamic unfolding, a continuous reimagining of self. But your mind, in its quest for stability, tries to create a solid, unchanging you. This illusion of continuity is both comforting and profoundly limiting, binding your observer to an outdated blueprint. Every past experience, every trauma, every triumph has shaped you, yes, but it does not define you unless you permit it to. When you project the you of yesterday onto the you of today, you are essentially asking a river to flow backwards. You are denying the inherent capacity for transformation that is baked into your very being. This clinging to a remembered self is a primary cause of stagnation. It keeps you trapped in old patterns, old stories, old narratives that no longer serve your evolution. The moment you grasp this, the moment you allow the memory of who you were to dissolve, a vast space of potential opens up. But how does this remembering, this attachment, actually lock down your reality? Your attention is not merely a spotlight, it's a cage builder. Wherever it lands and lingers, it begins to construct the boundaries of your perceived reality. The things you pay consistent, fervent attention to form the bars of this cage. If you pay attention to lack, to limitation, to the voices of doubt, then those are the very structures that solidify around you, creating your personal perception cage. This isn't about willpower, it's about the mechanics of observation. What you choose to notice, to dwell upon, to ruminate over, dictates what gains energetic density in your world. Your greatest fears become robust realities because your attention has painstakingly built their prison walls. Your desired futures remain distant because your attention rarely rests there long enough to give them form. You've experienced this without naming it. The more you worried about something, the more it seemed to materialize. The more you obsessed over a problem, the larger and more intractable it became. This wasn't bad luck. It was the direct feedback of your attention locking reality into place. Your observation was actively constructing the very limits you then struggled against. The trick is not to fight the cage, but to understand how your attention built it. Only then can you begin to dismantle the bars, not through brute force, but by redirecting the very architect of your experience. But even with this understanding, why does trying so often lead to deeper frustration? Trying is often a subtle form of resistance, an unconscious affirmation of the gap between you and your desired reality. When you try, you are implicitly observing the absence of what you want, solidifying its non-existence. Effort then becomes observation feedback, a constant broadcast to the universe that you are not yet there, and thus, it continues to deliver you the not yet. You felt this paradox. The more you try to force something, the further it seems to recede. The more you strive, the more friction you encounter. This isn't because you're doing it wrong. It's because the act of trying reinforces the identity of someone who doesn't have. Your observer, fixated on the struggle, perpetuates the struggle. This doesn't mean action is irrelevant. It means the quality of your action, its underlying energetic signature, is paramount. Action from a place of already being is seamless, effortless flow. Action from a place of trying to get is fraught with energetic static signaling deficiency. The universe isn't responding to your physical exertion, it's responding to your vibrational signature of self. The focus then shifts from strenuous effort to precise observation. It moves from pushing against what is to aligning with what is already becoming. Your failure wasn't proof you're weak. It was proof your old self is still rendering and your energy is still entangled in trying. How then do you actually shift this observation from trying to being and begin to collapse old timelines? Reality is not a single, fixed path, but a fluid landscape of branching possibilities, a timeline fork. Every choice, every unacknowledged belief creates these divergent paths. Your current reality is simply the timeline your consistent observation has maintained. To collapse a timeline fork means to consciously stop nourishing the old path and transfer your energetic signature to a new, desired one. This isn't about magic spells, it's about breaking ritual. The rituals of your daily life, your morning routine, your self-talk, your habitual emotional states are powerful anchors to your current timeline. To collapse it, you must consciously disrupt these anchors, cease the performance of your old self. It's like pulling the plug on a projector showing a film you no longer wish to see. You felt the resistance when you try to change a deeply ingrained habit. That friction is the timeline fighting to maintain its integrity, to keep you on its established trajectory. Your mind screams for the familiar, even if the familiar is detrimental. This is the moment of truth, the point of collapse or continuation. The act of truly embodying the desired self, even for fleeting moments, sends a potent signal. It's a declaration, an energetic shift that begins to starve the old timeline of the attention it needs to persist. This is where the magic happens, where the old reality literally begins to unravel around you. But even when you make this shift, why does the old world still linger? Even after you've consciously begun to shift your internal observation, the old world often refuses to instantly vanish. This is reality lag, a persistent echo of the timeline you were just on. It's like turning off a light, but the image of its brightness still lingers on your retina for a split second. The universe, in its grand scale, takes a moment to catch up to your new energetic broadcast. You've probably experienced this. You make a profound internal shift, you feel lighter, more aligned, but then an old problem reappears, an old person resurfaces, a familiar financial worry knocks on your door. This isn't evidence that your shift didn't work. It's simply the residual momentum of the previous reality, the final ripples of a collapsing waveform. This lag is a test of your new conviction. Will you fall back into the old narrative and react as the old self? Or will you hold steady, knowing that these are merely ghost images, specters from a timeline no longer fueled? Many falter here, mistaking the lag for a failure, and thus inadvertently re-engage the very reality they sought to escape. Understanding reality lag is crucial. It prevents you from self-sabotage, from concluding that your observation has no power. It prepares you for the lingering shadows, knowing they are merely dissolving, not re-establishing. But how do you know if your new observation is truly taking hold, moving beyond these echoes? Your reality rarely shifts in grand, dramatic overnight transformations. It moves in subtle whispers, in micro-proofs. These are small, undeniable shifts in your external world that confirm your internal observer has indeed changed course. They are synchronistic encounters, unexpected open doors, a sudden clarity, a new thought that feels divinely placed. Reality only moves when you do subtly at first, then gaining momentum. You've probably dismissed these micro-proofs in the past as mere coincidence or good luck, but they are far more significant. They are the universe's affirmative nod, its little nudges saying, yes, you are aligning, keep going. The more you notice and acknowledge them, the more you amplify their power, inviting larger shifts. Ignoring these small shifts is akin to ignoring the first few drops of rain that precede a downpour. You miss the early signals of your new trajectory. Your conscious acknowledgement of these micro-proofs sends a powerful feedback loop to your unconscious observer, reinforcing the new identity and its associated reality. It tells your mind, this new path is real, it generates results. These aren't just random occurrences, they are tangible evidence that the timeline you are building is starting to materialize on the physical plane. They are the early tremors before the earthquake of true transformation. But how do you move from simply receiving these proofs to embodying the very source of them? The ultimate shift isn't about wishing for a new reality, it's about embodying the observer who already has that reality. This is observer transfer. It means stepping fully into the energetic signature of the already real you, the version of yourself who naturally holds the desired outcome as their present truth. It's not performing, it's becoming. You can't fake this. Your subconscious registers authenticity, not mere intellectual assent. This embodiment is a felt state, an internal knowing. It's about asking, what would the already real me think, feel, say, and do in this exact moment? And then, in that moment, making those choices. This closes the gap between intention and manifestation. This isn't about suppressing your current feelings. It's about consciously choosing to orient towards the vibrational reality of your desired self, even when the old world is still showing up. It's the consistent act of projecting the new you into every circumstance, regardless of external evidence. This is where sustained shifts occur. The moment you truly transfer, the moment you become that observer, your current reality must respond. It has no other choice. You are no longer asking, you are simply being. But what is the profound, hidden cost if you choose not to embark on this journey of self-remembrance? The cost of not intentionally observing yourself, of allowing your perception to drift aimlessly, of passively accepting the dead world rendering, is far greater than mere frustration. It's the erosion of your true potential, the dulling of your vibrant existence, the quiet surrender of your innate power to shape your reality. The cost is a life lived by default, not by design. You feel this cost as a hollow ache, a sense of unfulfillment, a recurring suspicion that there is more. It manifests as chronic exhaustion, a lingering anxiety, a pattern of repeating relationships, unfulfilled ambitions. These aren't random afflictions, they are the direct consequences of an unshifted observer, a refusal to step into your sovereign role. This isn't about external failures, it's about the internal price paid when the most powerful mechanism you possess, your attention, your perception, is left unattended. It's the slow decay of possibility, the closing off of new pathways, the reinforcing of limitations that are entirely self-imposed. You are meant to be an active participant, not a mere reactor. Every missed opportunity, every moment of resignation, every echo of the past is a tally mark in this hidden cost. It's the weight of a potential reality that remains unactualized. But you are not reading this by chance. You are always meant to confront this specific juncture. The fact that you are here, reading these words, encountering these concepts, is not an accident of the algorithm. You were meant to see this collapse point. Your inner observer, even in its unconscious state, has been sending out faint signals, pulling you towards this moment of reckoning. This is where old realities begin to dissolve and new ones are consciously chosen. You've been given a glimpse behind the curtain, a forbidden briefing on the mechanics of your own existence. This isn't just information, it's a call to action, an invitation to reclaim your role as the deliberate architect of your experience. The frustration you've felt, the loops you've endlessly navigated, were merely preparing you for this very understanding. Every aha moment, every chilling recognition of a pattern you've lived but never named, is a sign that your observer is awakening. You are at a threshold. The old world, the dead self, can continue to render only if you allow it. This moment is a choice point, a powerful fork in the timeline. This is your direct instruction. Acknowledge the collapse, embrace the new perspective,